Hello YouTube. Red flags on Upwork. If you see these red flags, run a mile. Now look, there's a very big difference between a good client on Upwork and a difficult client on Upwork, but then a bad client on Upwork, which you simply have to avoid at all costs. Look, at the end of the day, there is nothing worse than a bad client if you are a freelancer, especially if you are a copywriter. They're draining, it's unproductive, they always end up costing you far more money than you make with them, and it's simply not worth it. But the biggest red flag by far about bad clients is bad clients lead to bad reviews. You leave them a bad review, they leave you a bad review. Before you know, you're fighting in the comments section, and it's just a complete waste of your time, and it sets you back on your pathway to reaching a 5-figure income from your copywriting or your freelancing. So follow these steps. If you see 2 or 3 or more or all of the red flags I'm about to point out to you in this video, don't work with that client. Move on straight into the arms of a client who will treat you well. It's a lot like dating. If you see the red flags, run a mile. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. The first red flag. Now look, one of the best things about working on Upwork is the fact that you have access to a pool of clients who are literally all over the world, especially if you're a copywriter and you want to work with an international client base, which I highly recommend that you do. Upwork is the most amazing platform for that. I've worked with clients all over the world, especially in the Middle East, where I've had a lot of recent success, but I've also worked with clients in Singapore. I've worked with clients in the UK too, but also in Central Europe and Eastern Europe, and essentially all over the world. The US, North America, South America, you name it, I've probably had a client I've spoken with or worked with in that part of the world. So Upwork's incredible for that. However, be mindful of the practical challenges. There could be a big time difference, there could be a language barrier, there could be certain practical differences which make working with overseas clients quite challenging. Bear this in mind and be mindful of it. Next is the job description. Now look, this is a genuine deal breaker. If someone has sent you a job on Upwork or you're applying for a job on Upwork and the job description is frankly a little bit strange, a little bit weird, or it's unclear or it's confusing, there are a bunch of problems in the job description which make you feel a little bit uneasy, don't apply for that job or don't accept that job proposal, because frankly it causes you a whole load of problems. Look at a job description on Upwork as looking at a mirror into the future about how your client is going to communicate with you. Now look, if the job description is unclear, if it's confusing, if it makes no sense, if what they're asking you to do is just a little bit odd, then bear in mind that that's probably how they're going to communicate with you, and it's going to make your life very, very difficult. A bad job description is a deal breaker. However, don't confuse brevity and being concise in a job description with being a bad client. A lot of the times, a big enterprise client or a larger client who's got a great track record, they'll leave not much information in the job description. They'll keep it very clear, but very concise and very short. The reason is they want to entice you to apply to that particular job, and then when they're communicating with you one-on-one, when they like your track record, when they feel like they can trust you as a freelancer, they'll give you more information. So look, you see a short job description, that's not the end of the world, but you see a weird job description or a weirdly short one that makes no sense and you're not really sure you can do what they're asking you, don't bother. There are plenty of jobs out there, so look at that job description, read it thoroughly and carefully, and trust your gut. If it looks bad, it probably is. Avoid that red flag. Strangely low pay. Now look, I've said previously on other videos that it's very important, especially when you're starting out, to build up your track record, and that is absolutely true. Sometimes you are going to be a little bit underpaid. Even as you become more experienced, you may be slightly underpaid for work that you'd be paid more if it was a different client in a different location. However, there is such a thing as strangely low pay. If you see $5 for 1,000 words with a high volume of work, ignore these clients at all costs. Look, your time is valuable. It is important. Even when you're just starting out, there are clients who will pay you far more than $5 for 1,000 words. You should be minimum looking at $50 per 1,000 words. As you get more experience, $100. More experience on top of that, minimum a few $100 at least for 1,000 words. So if you see $5 per 1,000 words, that tells me these people do not work well with freelancers. They don't know the ask, or they're used to working with freelancers of a very low or poor quality who regularly charge so little for that amount of words. So strangely low pay, avoid. It's not worth your time, it's not worth the effort, and they're probably very, very difficult to work with. You don't want that, especially when you're starting out. You're trying to get to 5-figure income as quickly as possible. How long is it going to take you if you're writing 1,000 words for $5? It's going to take you a very long time. Avoid their track record. This is amazing. This is probably one of the best things you can look at when you're potentially thinking about working with a client. Just like with freelancers, clients have a 5-star rating. You can see, for example, out of the 100 reviews that freelancers have left them, what is their rating? So some clients will be 5 stars, some will be 4.9 stars, some will have great reviews. If you have the opportunity to work with a client like that, and they're offering good money, it's in a good location, communication's going well, then absolutely they're a good client. But if you look at their reviews and you see that, oh, hang on a minute, a freelancer here left a 1-star review, another freelancer's left a 2-star review, and you can see the client and the freelancer arguing in the comments about what went wrong, or they didn't do this, or they didn't do that. Don't be like those freelancers. They have fallen into the red flag trap. They didn't see this video, partly because the video wasn't even live then, but it is now, and I'm telling you, avoid those clients. A bad track record means a bad client, and that means the likelihood of you getting a bad review from them and you leaving them a bad review, and it's setting up, just completely halting your progress. You want progress, and bad clients are absolutely a blocker to that. So watch out for the track record, make sure it is good. So that's it, guys. These are the red flags to avoid. Look at the location, consider the practical difficulties, look at the job description, how they're communicating, what's the job in the first place, is it really strange? 3, is the pay strangely low that's on offer? Are they offering you far less than they should be offering for the amount of work they're asking you to do? Avoid that client. And finally, how is their track record? Is it any good? Have they got 5-star ratings? Are there consistent stream of 1-star ratings from poor freelancers who have been suckered into working for long hours, for little money, for clients that never respond to their messages? Well, look, if you see a job with 2 or 3 or more of these red flags, run a mile, don't work with them, move on to the next client who is going to treat you well. Because even when you're starting out, there are good clients out there. Look, you may be underpaid a little bit at first, and you may have to work with clients who leave a lot of comments and you have to integrate them all, and it takes a lot of time, but these clients are far better than the ones who underpay you severely, don't respond to your messages, they ask you to do things that make no sense. You've got to be very careful, because those clients are always the ones who leave you bad reviews, and it ends up completely messing up your progress. You don't want that. You want progress straight to 5 figures, and you want to get there as quickly as possible. Work with clients who you understand, they understand you, you're on the same page, and I promise you, you'll make more money than you know what to do with, and you'll do it in very little time. I hope this video has been very instructive. Copywriting jobs to avoid on Upwork. Upwork is a fantastic resource, but look for the red flags. You'll save yourself a lot of time. Ciao guys, see you in the next one.